Without even thinking about it, many businesses have equity tied up in non-earning assets. Maybe they've stumbled through their real estate decisions and even purchased a building that doesn't effectively support their operations. Well, these sorts of real estate decisions, whether intentional or unintentional, have impacts. An outstanding mortgage, it might impact your ability to secure future lending. It might even negatively impact the firm's growth prospects or its profitability. It's a bad situation that can get worse without careful consideration and a real estate strategy. And we'll explore all that and more in this video. Hey everyone, it's Matt Marsh, founder of Marsh & Partners. Marsh & Partners is a development and national consulting firm that helps business owners and investors maximize their real estate and transform their businesses. So don't get me wrong, business-owned real estate presents some wonderful opportunities. It's an opportunity to take advantage of potentially lower monthly payments, even with rising mortgage rates, and comparable rental rates for space that might be even more expensive. It's also an opportunity to start growing some personal wealth outside of your business. Because if your business needs to pay rent anyway, well, why not pay it to yourself then, right? But it also presents several challenges that are worth considering that have major implications for a business's liquidity. So let's start by talking about the journey of buying a building. You find a space that works, secure the financing, buy the building, move into the space. Maybe the building needs some fit up or some capital improvements. So you even outlay some additional cash to make the necessary enhancements before moving. Well, now you have a building sitting on the asset side of your balance sheet and a mortgage as a liability. And that means a couple of things. The composition of your balance sheet, it actually plays an important role in how outside parties view your riskiness as a firm. Banks, they'll often make financing decisions based on other debt obligations you might have. So if you have a big mortgage on your balance sheet, well, it could impact your ability to secure future lending for business growth activities. You can even think about it in terms of available cash as well. To buy a building, you had to outlay some cash initially as a down payment. Now that down payment is cash that can no longer be reinvested into the company to drive growth. So the opportunity cost of buying a building is that you can't use that cash in more efficient areas of the business. So equity tied up in real estate holdings may be an unproductive deployment of the company's dollars. But a sale-leaseback could be an opportunity to free up cash and equity and to be able to allocate those dollars more effectively in the business. It's the king of off-balance sheet financing because instead of adding a liability to your balance sheet, you're actually removing one. Now, one of the major challenges that businesses must navigate when they take on a loan are restrictive debt covenants. Those debt covenants, they place guidelines on what the business can and can't do when they're paying back the note. It restricts them from doing things like issuing more senior debt, might even require, minimum debt to asset thresholds. And the proceeds from a sale-leaseback, they're not encumbered by any of those covenants. A business has full control over what they want to do with the capital and how they want to deploy those dollars. Now, the cost of financing, it's another factor to consider as well. A business with liquidity problems, they might be looking for cash to help cover its liabilities or to fund growth. But the question is, where does that cash come from and what's the all-in cost to get it? Mezzanine debt, equity sources, they're traditionally more expensive forms of financing than a mortgage or senior debt. And the proceeds from a sale-leaseback, they're equal to the building's capitalization rate. That's generally less expensive means of financing and a more effective solution to liquidity challenges than alternative debt or equity sources. Now, when might a sale-leaseback make sense is ultimately, the question that we're all asking. Well, there are a couple of situations where it might make sense to you as a business owner. First, and probably the most practical, is the space just doesn't work for you anymore. It's not a liquidity consideration per se, but there's no need to fight with your real estate if you don't have to. And if you can unlock some non-earning equity in the process, it could be a good option. But perhaps the most powerful reason to consider a sale-leaseback is when capital is needed for growth. You can't fund business growth or investment activities with a mortgage. And an equity offering, like I said, it's more expensive and dilutes your ownership stake in the company. But a sale-leaseback will free up that non-earning equity so that you can flex that cash into more productive activities. Now, the ability to clean up your balance sheet is another important consideration. I mentioned previously how the composition of your balance sheet plays a role in how lenders and investors look at the riskiness of your business. Well, if you can sell the real estate and simultaneously reduce your business's outstanding liabilities, you might be able to more easily secure financing in the future. And finally, if you're a high margin business, a sale-leaseback might even make sense as well. Because even high margin businesses struggle with liquidity issues, especially if they can't get their fixed costs under control. And here's the way I typically frame it for business owners. Commercial real estate is generally a 6 to 7 or 8% margin business. And if you're running a business with 15 to 20% margins, you might be better served to liquidate your real estate and instead use those funds and proceeds to invest in higher margin operations. Now, there's no universal recommendation for when a sale-leaseback makes sense. Real estate ownership offers a business owner the opportunity to begin growing wealth outside of the business. It also offers diversification from your core business's operations and might even lower your overall risk profile. But depending on your individual situation, a sale-leaseback could be a great solution for cheaper financing or to help solve liquidity issues. So if you want to brainstorm and strategize, I'd be happy to have a conversation. Check out the video description for more resources on sale-leasebacks and more relevant content for small business owners. And please, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on content to help you through your real estate journeys. Feel free to leave me a comment if there are any other topics you're interested in or you'd like me to cover. And again, thanks for watching.